Good morning from the West Palm Beach Tri-Rail station. Today I'm going to do something I've never done before, and that's kind of do a vlog style video. I'm going to be riding Tri-Rail's relatively new downtown express train from West Palm Beach to downtown Miami. So without further ado, yalla, let's go. So they do have signage here for the express train leaving West Palm Beach at 6:30 a.m. and only stopping at Boca, Raton, Fort Lauderdale Airport, Metrorail transfer station, and then downtown MiamiCentral station. I'm kind of curious how the boarding procedure is going to go, given that for most of Tri-Rail's 35-year history, their trains have made all stops. So I'm sure it's been maybe a little bit of a learning curve for passengers in terms of what train they should be getting on and making sure they get on the right train. So I'm wondering if only certain doors will open at the stations. Also, I did show up quite a bit earlier just because I'm kind of curious to see the train actually pull in, since this is the first stop. They have the West Palm Beach layover facility just south of the West Palm Beach Tri-Rail station. So I'm assuming that's where the train will pull out from. So I just checked the Tri-Rail app, which kind of answered my question as to where this express train originates from. It's actually at Mangonia Park. And you can see there's another train at Mangonia Park, and that's P609, which leaves West Palm Beach 6 minutes after the express train leaves West Palm Beach at 6:30. My guess is there's some type of operational move with that first northbound train in the morning, where the consist for the express train is coupled up to that first northbound train. Since Hialeah is Tri-Rail's main maintenance facility, that kind of saves a deadhead move, I would suppose. So I guess once 6:25 probably, that express train set will leave Mangonia Park and head down to West Palm Beach for the first stop of the trip. Okay, I just checked the app again, and it appears that the express train is now deadheading from Mangonia Park. So it should be at the West Palm Beach station within a few minutes. Again, the train doesn't actually depart West Palm Beach till 6:30, so we'll see if we can get on board quite a bit earlier than the 6:30 a.m. departure. In terms of people here, there really isn't a lot of people here, to be quite honest. The last news article I could find, Tri-Rail said there were close to 400 daily passengers on the express train, and that was back in the first week of October. Assume 200 people going south and 200 people north would get you that 400 passenger number. Really isn't bad. I'm curious to know if maybe Boca Raton has more ridership in Fort Lauderdale Airport Station. And also really kind of curious to know if there's anyone that's just going to Boca Raton or Fort Lauderdale Airport that benefits from the express train and not necessarily going all the way to downtown Miami. So well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. All right, let's see what time it is. 6:10. I'm assuming based off the app that this is X301, which is the southbound morning express train. About 20 minutes from departure. And it does say on the side, express to MiamiCentral. So it does look boarding starts about 20 minutes before departure. Haven't seen a lot of people so far. I mean, it's still early. Train doesn't leave for another 17 minutes now. I've only seen a couple people get on, but they're using a 4-car train set, so either they want people to be really comfortable or they are expecting more people to get on in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale Airport. I'm gonna sit up at the front car of the train just because I'm kind of curious to see what the passenger loads look like at the platform. Obviously won't be perfect because there'll be people waiting for the all-stop train that comes shortly after the express train, but I don't know. In terms of comparisons to Brightline, I mean, West Palm Beach Station isn't air conditioned like the Brightline station is, but at least the train gets here early enough where you can wait on board where it is air conditioned.
Good morning, West Palm Beach. Southbound train, MiamiCentral. Southbound train. This is an express train. The next station stop will be Boca Raton.
Alright, so it's 6:29, less than a minute from the scheduled departure. So it looks like we are going to depart West Palm Beach right about on time at 6:30 a.m. Also, I did a speed test. Decent download speeds if you have to do any work on board. Brightline also offers free Wi-Fi, but Tri-Rail does too. In terms of the number of people on board, there's like 3 or 4 people in this car. Of course, there's 3 other train cars as well. I haven't walked through the rest of the train to see how many other people are on board those cars. I will say it definitely appears that there's quite a few more people waiting for the train that makes all stops, which is about 5 minutes behind this train, at least from West Palm Beach. And we'll start to make some distance as we skip a lot of the stops. We're actually... Okay, now the safety briefing is out of the way. I did write down the mileage. Oh, if I can get this camera to turn. Come on. Okay, I did write down the mileage between West Palm Beach and Boca Raton. It's 22.9 miles, and we're scheduled to take 25 minutes to get between the 2 stations. So that's an average speed of 55 miles per hour. It's not bad. Especially if your origin and destination are pretty close to Boca Raton. Definitely very competitive with driving, although at 6:30 in the morning there's probably not that much traffic on the highway. Also, another great thing about riding early morning trains or late night trains in the dark, especially commuter trains where they leave the lights on ultra bright, you can't really see anything outside. So definitely one issue of taking pre-dawn train rides, especially on a commuter train. They like to have these bright-ass lights. So there's not a lot of things you can really see outside very well. We are coming up onto the Lake Worth Tri-Rail station. And actually we slowed down a little bit, so we're not going to fly through here, which would have been fun. But let's see. Yeah, you really can't see much out the window, at least through the camera. Also, we slowed down considerably too, which is interesting. Actually, we're slowing down to a near stop, it feels like, because I think felt another brake application. Okay, so here's Lake Worth Road. Now I wonder if this is a typical thing for us to kind of crawl through this crossing. It's definitely a lot of traffic. And a lot of people waiting, it looks like, for the all stops train that is behind us. yeah, kind of curious to know why we slowed down there. But passed through Lake Worth, 6:39 a.m. Okay, we're now approaching the Boynton Beach Tri-Rail station, and yet again we've slowed down considerably, down to 50 miles per hour if this little app is to be believed. Now we're down to 45-ish miles an hour and still slowing down. So possibly maybe a safety thing at play here. They don't want people who are used to Tri-Rail trains that stop at every single station, at the stations that this train does not stop at, to stand too close to the yellow line and, you know, a tragedy happen. So down to almost 30 miles per hour now, it looks like. Maybe 35, maybe that's the operational procedure that Tri-Rail does with the express train, is to slow down to a much slower speed instead of, you know, full track speed at 70 plus miles per hour. Good news is it is dawn, so the sun is coming up. Not sure how much usable footage there will really be until we get, you know, probably into Broward County once the sun really starts to make an appearance. And here's Boynton Beach. There's a northbound train. Oh, wow, there's quite a few people waiting for the all-stop train here. And we pass through the station at 30 miles per hour. Interesting operational procedure, because Amtrak definitely blasts through these stations at full track speed. But 6:44. So 14 minutes so far from West Palm Beach, and probably another 10 minutes to go until Boca Raton. Okay, we just crossed Atlantic Avenue, which means we are coming up on the Delray Beach Tri-Rail station, and yet again we've slowed down considerably. So at this point, I have to 100% assume that this is just like an operational safety type thing that they do for the express train to not fly through these Tri-Rail stations that they don't stop at. Speaking of speed, that Boynton Beach to Delray Beach segment is probably one of the longer gaps between stations on Tri-Rail. And Tri-Rail has the same track speed as Brightline between West Palm Beach and Miami, which is 79 miles per hour. These commuter rail coaches were bouncing. I have my complaints about the Brightline coaches that Brightline uses, the Siemens coaches, and they mainly involve the seats. But in terms of actual ride quality, as we pass through Delray Beach, in terms of actual ride quality, the Siemens coaches are night and day, even compared to like the long distance Amtrak, Amfleet coaches that Amtrak uses. I just wish the seats were more comfortable, and maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that when I do my Brightline video, which won't really be a Brightline video. Spoilers for the 3 people who actually watch this. Okay, I don't know, and of course the GPS, I don't know if the microphone is picking up right now, but you can definitely see the seats vibrating. Yeah, these commuter rail coaches are not a smooth ride at 79 miles per hour. And you can almost hear my voice where I sound like I am shaking. Yeah, the ticket is $8.75. There's no train attendant coming through with coffee and food and, you know, other types of drinks and refreshments. You very much get what you pay for. It's still not a bad way to travel, I think. Far more affordable than Brightline. By the way, I am taking Brightline back from Miami to West Palm Beach, and I think I found a reasonably priced ticket relative to Brightline's prices. It was like $27 in Smart, whatever they call their basic coach seating. And that's kind of the reason why Tri-Rail actually implemented this express train, was because once Brightline extended to Orlando, they kind of priced out their Miami to West Palm Beach commuter market because they wanted to free open those seats for those Orlando travelers, which ultimately have a higher they're a higher money maker for the railroad, and that was their ultimate goal, was to make money off that Miami to Orlando market. And they couldn't do that if people were just traveling between Miami and West Palm Beach. So in response, Tri-Rail was able, I believe they used like some COVID ridership recovery relief funding that was provided through the federal government. that's, I believe, how they're funding this train. I think it's also kind of how they're staying afloat, because now we're arriving in Boca Raton. Let's see, it's 6:54. We're scheduled to arrive at 6:55, so we're bang on time. But anyway, yeah, once that grant money runs out, I think Tri-Rail's kind of facing a financial constraint. So that'll be very interesting to see if this express train will continue. Let's see how many people are waiting at the Boca Raton platform. The one bad thing is it's not going to be 100% able to tell how many people are actually waiting for the express train versus how many people are waiting for the all stops train behind us. Does look like there are a few people getting ready to board.
Good morning, Boca. Southbound train to MiamiCentral. Express southbound train to MiamiCentral. Final call for Boca Raton. Please stand clear and close the doors.
Okay, so it is 6:56. About a minute late departing.
Station stop on Lauderdale Airport, River Road.
I will say that the number of people on board the train have more than doubled from, of course, we're starting from a relatively low position. At least in my car, there's like maybe 4 or 5 people, and it looks like maybe 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 people are now on board. Also, side note, Greyhound does serve the Boca Raton station. Interesting. Yeah, so the next stop will be Fort Lauderdale Airport in about 23 minutes. Alright, so we're coming up on Hillsborough, and we have not slowed down. Here's Deerfield Beach. Curiously, we kind of just flew through the station. So maybe it has more to do with the fact that our express train, so that was 7:01. I also realized that I missed the time for Delray Beach. Maybe it has to do with the express train operating so close to the all-stop train behind us. And once we pass Boca Raton, there's enough distance where the assumption is made that they don't have to slow down through the remaining stations, I guess. Because I think, let's see, the express train leaves Boca at 6:55 a.m. And then the local train is at 7:08 a.m. So at this point, that local train is probably 15 minutes behind us. And Amtrak does typically operate through the Tri-Rail stations at track speed, in my experience. So I guess it was more of just a safety thing, because people are used to Tri-Rail trains stopping at all the stations. Also, I realized something too. A lot of these out the window moments have probably been out of focus, although there hasn't been really a lot of lighting until now. So like I said, this is my first time doing this whole riding a train and vlog thing. This is more of a practice run for me, because I actually do have higher ambitions for silly trips using transit in South Florida. I'm definitely no Jeb Brooks or Paul Lucas or Noel Phillips or Miles in Transit, and they do really great work. But I have my own wacky transit ideas, especially in South Florida, that maybe 3 people would find interesting on YouTube to watch. So that's really kind of my goal here. Possibly noteworthy is Tri-Rail's express train does not stop at the Fort Lauderdale Broward Boulevard station, but stops at the Fort Lauderdale Airport station. Possibly, I've seen some comments online about people saying, you know, it should stop at the Broward Boulevard station. I don't know what the ridership is like at the Fort Lauderdale Broward Boulevard station. In my experience, it seems to be higher at Fort Lauderdale Airport. That's interesting. I wonder what they're building there. I think there used to be like some horse track there. It's now getting redeveloped. I also think that's where the what was the Miami soccer club that Messi plays at. I don't know. I think it's around here somewhere. But anyway, I don't know. The Broward Boulevard Fort Lauderdale Tri-Rail station is such in a bad location, and it's like 2 or 3 miles away from anything useful in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and involves now either a BCT transfer or a Uber or Lyft ride or taxi ride, whatever you want to take to get to downtown Fort Lauderdale. Maybe that was the justification for it. I don't know. But Fort Lauderdale Airport is the Fort Lauderdale station that Tri-Rail serves on this express train. We are bouncing along, definitely at track speed now. And I believe we should be passing through Cypress Creek right any second now. Let's see. Yes, okay. That was Cypress Creek Road, Cypress Creek Tri-Rail Station. Northbound train on the other platform. I didn't see anyone waiting at this station, by the way. Of course, we went through it. Let's see how fast we're going. Pretty much right at track speed, 78 miles per hour, if that app is to be believed. So not a lot of people waiting for that all-stop train, but like I was saying before, I think Cypress Creek maybe kind of serves more offices, so maybe this is more of a AM people getting off, PM people getting on type station. Also another noteworthy thing about the line that Tri-Rail uses, and this kind of goes back to the whole not stopping at Broward Boulevard. Tri-Rail obviously runs just west of I-95 and mostly through industrial areas, while Brightline runs through downtown areas, and that's because obviously the Florida East Coast Railway is a much older railroad, and a lot of cities in South Florida, really the east coast of Florida, grew up around it. While the tracks that Tri-Rail uses are, a little bit, relatively newer still at this point. I think 100 years old really, which in the grand scheme of things is actually kind of old, I guess. But the development pattern certainly changed in Florida. So along Tri-Rail you have like more suburban type development that doesn't really suit transit efficiently. Ideally, if the Tri-Rail tracks originally could have gone to downtown Miami, I guess the thought process could have been that all these suburban people in Palm Beach County and Broward County could have taken Tri-Rail to get to downtown Miami. But unfortunately, the Tri-Rail tracks never went to downtown Miami until last year. And that was when the downtown Miami link opened, thanks to, the Brightline project. All right, here is the Fort Lauderdale station. It's part of the park and ride. I think Flixbus uses that. Oh, there's a BCT, the electric bus. That's Route 22. And here is the Fort Lauderdale station. Again, didn't look like there were a lot of people waiting at that station as well. I really think that's the station's just really in a bad spot. The land use obviously is not ideal at all. I-95 is immediately to the east of the railroad tracks, and the east borders the east side of the station, so really probably not a lot of appealing development opportunities either there. Also, we are coming up to the new river crossing. I just realized that I didn't write down the time for Fort Lauderdale, or Cypress Creek for that matter. And we're coming up on Fort Lauderdale Airport now, so I'm actually I'm gonna keep talking between these two stations, because we are now coming up on the new river crossing, which the trackage that Tri-Rail and Amtrak use is actually relatively new, built roughly 20 years ago, and I think it's like a 55-foot high-level double-tracked fixed bridge over the new river, which not really replaced because the actual drawbridge still exists, and I believe freight trains use it. But
kind of made it better crossing across the New River, and this is why. We are firmly in Fort Lauderdale now, and I believe that's like a yacht storage area or a yacht maintenance facility. And also in the distance, way off in the distance, I don't know if the camera really picks it up, but that's the very cheesy looking Hard Rock Guitar Hotel and Casino. So that's the New River. In just a few minutes we should be arriving the Fort Lauderdale Airport Station. It's 7:14 right now, scheduled to leave there at 7:18. So we're pretty much still bang on time. Also noteworthy, we did appear to have stopped slowing down through the Tri-Rail stations. So I'm assuming it was just happens to be like a proximity to the train behind us type thing. And once we were far enough apart from it, then we kind of just speed on through. This is the very lovely 595 I-95 interchange, which means the Fort Lauderdale Airport is just off in the distance to the left of the train if you're going south. Looks like an Alaskan Airlines flight is getting ready to take off, and a Southwest flight behind it. For the plane foamers out there.
Now arriving at Lauderdale Airport, Griffin Road. Stand clear the doors once you step departing the train. Please check your surroundings, follow your belongings. There is a free shuttle to take you to the airport. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend.
Have a wonderful weekend. It is the last day of January, and it's also a Friday. That might also be impacting ridership. Maybe not as many people go to the office today if they work in downtown Miami. So it might not be the best example in terms of trying to figure out how many people use this. Obviously, what I'm doing as well is very unscientific. I don't have the official passenger counts or the ability to do so without standing at the door and trying to count how many people get on and off at each stop, which I'm not going to do. All right, quite a few people with suitcases, presumably getting off early morning flights. Also, it looks like a lot of people are getting ready to board this train. And there's the BCT Express bus as well. I'm trying to remember, they have two different routes that go from like the Fort Lauderdale area to Miami, and it's 7:16, so we're actually 2 minutes ahead of the departure time.
Good morning, Fort Lauderdale Air. Express southbound, MiamiCentral. Express.
But there's two BCT Express routes that go to downtown Miami. I don't remember which one this is, if it's the one that actually goes to downtown Miami or the one that actually serves the hospital area.
Southbound train. Next station stop, Metrorail transfer.
Man, there's a lot of bus congestion here. 1, 2, 3 BCT buses, the express bus, and then the Tri-Rail Fort Lauderdale Airport shuttle bus. Just passed through Hollywood. Curiously, we did slow down again. Also noteworthy, the average speed from Boca Raton to Fort Lauderdale Airport was 72 miles per hour. So 24 miles in 20 minutes. Who says Tri-Rail is not high speed? I think maybe just to highlight the lack of maybe traffic on the last day of the month on a Friday, this is the Golden Glades interchange. Normally, well, I was about to say normally this is pretty congested. This is actually relatively not that bad, although actually it is stopped right there. This is where I-95, the Turnpike, 441 all kind of interchange into one spot, and it's normally very, very congested. It's also the location of a new park and ride that FDOT recently opened up during the pandemic, and that serves both BCT and Miami-Dade Transit. I think it might also service like intercity coaches for Greyhound or Flixbus or whatever name they're going by. That's the parking deck right there. Actually a very nice facility. They have like a waiting room. And this is the Golden Glades Tri-Rail station, but they have a waiting room for passengers and a lounge for the bus operators as well. I believe another guy that's kind of local to the Miami-Dade County area kind of checked it out right when it opened, and he made a pretty good video about it. But that's Golden Glades, and that also ends the Tri-Rail's paralleling of I-95, as this is Highway or State Road 9, as we kind of diverge more to the west, and this is kind of the fatal flaw of Tri-Rail versus Brightline, at least pre-downtown Miami Lane Tri-Rail, where Tri-Rail kind of just served Hialeah and the airport and completely missed downtown Miami. I'm guessing that Tri-Rail engine and coach has been now scrapped for parts. Looked in pretty rough shape.
Now arriving Metrorail transfers. Next near the doors, watch your steps departing the train. Please check your surroundings for all your belongings. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend.
So that's Tri-Rail's part of the yard. It is 7:35. We're not scheduled to leave Metrorail transfer till 7:43. We're a good bit early. And actually, I think that's the Silver Meteor. Must be the Silver Meteor getting ready for its departure from downtown Miami. And actually, that's one of the new, I think that's the V7 Superliner, or not Superliner, V7 paint scheme for Amtrak on that one Viewliner coach or sleeper car. Trains are awesome. I just watched a video that he did about the new paint scheme. Pretty good stuff. And it is 7:35. We're not scheduled to leave here till 7:43. Metrorail transfer station. Also interesting to me, the shuttle trains that, since the vast majority, well, other than this train, all other Tri-Rail trains continue south to Miami Airport, and then Tri-Rail runs some shuttle trains from here that connect from the regular Tri-Rail trains to downtown Miami, and all those trains seem to depart on track 2. This train is on track 1. So, I don't know, just a curious operational thing for me. And I guess we'll be sitting here for 7 minutes, since we're 7 minutes early.
Thank you to close the doors.
Alright, 7:43. Looks like we're departing right on time. Departing right on time at 7:43. Maybe. Maybe. Well, the door's closed.
Attention passengers waiting on a freight train to clear up in front of us. As soon as it clears up, we will get the signal to proceed south to MiamiCentral.
Okay, well that gets me into another rant. So just south of the Metrorail transfer station is Iris Interlocking. and it's the Florida East Coast Railway crossing over the Tri-Rail tracks. It's my understanding that this crossing is first come, first serve. So in this case, I'm guessing the freight train was there first, and that means we get to wait. Isn't there some type of law that says passenger trains take priority over freight trains? I don't know. Maybe it'd be great if the state of Florida, FDOT, FEC Railway, and Tri-Rail can prevent this from happening, because I've had this happen a few times before, and it's resulted in like 10-15 minute delays, which it's not terrible, but also really not ideal, especially for a commuter rail system where people are trying to get to work on time, or especially in the case of Tri-Rail, catch flights on time. And really, in our case, the downtown Miami train doesn't even cross over the Iris interlocking. We turn onto the Florida East Coast Railway tracks. So the Florida East Coast Railway dispatcher knows that we're expecting to use those tracks. And I mean, this is a regularly scheduled passenger train that's supposed to leave Metrorail transfer at 7:43 Monday through Friday, and yet somehow that freight train got priority over us, making it to downtown Miami. So the conductor just gave an update. She said that we are still waiting on the freight train to move, and we don't have a signal. So we've been sitting here for like 10 minutes now. I'm assuming the freight train hasn't even crossed or gotten out of our way yet. What I'll be curious to see is there's supposed to be a northbound train that comes into Metrorail transfer in about 3 minutes. It's on the tracker. Be curious to know if they're also going to have to wait for the freight train as well. But we're supposed to leave 10 minutes ago, and she also mentioned that she opened the doors, which indicates to me that it might be a little bit longer before we actually get moving again. This really isn't Tri-Rail's fault. I kind of lay the blame on our inability as a state and country to operate public transit correctly. Ultimately, Tri-Rail does not own the tracks to get to downtown Miami. They own the tracks between Miami Airport and Magonia Park, but the downtown Miami section is not owned by them, so they operate at the behest of the Florida East Coast Railway. Unfortunately, their railroad, and I guess in this case their rules, despite what federal law says about passenger trains having priority.
Because we should get the signal to proceed southbound.
Okay, I didn't get to record all that. The conductor just announced that the freight train did show up, but is moving very slow, unsurprisingly, as freight trains tend to do, especially in this area. Also, that northbound train, yeah, they're also waiting on the freight train. So not only are we now delayed 15 minutes, but the northbound train, with all these folks waiting at the Metrorail transfer station, are also going to be delayed as well. Good job, Florida East Coast Railway. Really, really great stuff here. Okay, conductor just announced that the train has cleared, and we are waiting on the signal. Some interesting operational issues I just thought about. We're on track 1. To access the Florida East Coast Railway's track, we have to get over to track 2. There's that northbound train that's been also waiting for the freight train, but I believe they're going to be using track 2 based on the fact that people are waiting on the track 2 platform for presumably the northbound train. So I'm curious as to who's going to get priority. Us, who now over 20 minutes late. Oh, it looks like it's going to be us. So 21 minutes late leaving Metrorail transfer. Credit to Tri-Rail. They got us to the Metrorail transfer station 7 minutes early. But major failure by the Florida East Coast Railway, who honestly probably doesn't even care that they delayed this passenger train. They delayed 2 passenger trains carrying hundreds of people trying to get to work. Another thing I was just thinking of, it's 8:05 now. We got to Metrorail transfer at 7:36. Honestly, at that point, you probably could have gotten off Metrorail if you knew that there was going to be a delay, and we're crossing over to track 2 now.
If you knew there was going to be a delay because of the freight trade, you probably could have taken Metrorail and gotten to downtown Miami faster at this point. And again, that's kind of a flaw in just the geography of the way the Tri-Rail tracks go deep into Hialeah, and have to make this weird deviation onto the Florida East Coast Railway line to get to downtown Miami. Making the turn now. Actually, foamer shot. You can see the rear of our 4-car passenger train. One thing I was thinking about, and I've done the downtown Miami shuttle train on Tri-Rail before. One thing I was thinking when I was riding it was, this is probably the first regularly scheduled passenger train to operate on this section of the Florida East Coast Railway tracks. I believe between Iris and I believe they call it like the Little River Junction or something like that. Maybe someone that's a FEC railway historian can correct me, because all the Florida East Coast Railway passenger trains, when they did operate, presumably went to downtown Miami, which means they never had to use these tracks. And even when the overseas railway existed, the Florida East Coast Railway tracks extended south of downtown Miami, across the Miami River, and basically paralleled US 1 and what is now the Metrorail tracks that go down to Dadeland South. So I think this is the first regularly scheduled passenger train to operate on these tracks. Another thing I was thinking of too was the Fort Lauderdale Amtrak Tri-Rail station. I thought this was the first regularly scheduled passenger train to not serve that station, that historic Fort Lauderdale station, but I remembered the other day that the Florida Fun Train also did not service that station. So the Florida Fun Train in the late 90s, the short-lived Fun Train, started at what I believe is now the modern present-day Sheridan Street station, and operated nonstop to around the Point Siena area in Kissimmee. So that also did not stop at the Fort Lauderdale station. But I don't know, maybe some FEC railway historian can correct me if I'm wrong about this part of the Tri-Rail express train journey. That said, I'm also really not happy with the Florida East Coast Railway right now. So one thing I am kind of curious about is there's this shuttle train that was supposed to leave the Miami Central station at 8:10 a.m. If the tracker is to be believed, it has not left Miami Central yet. I believe I was told before that there might only be able to operate one of the shuttle trains on the downtown Miami link at a time, based off capacity constraints. And it looks like, let's see, yes, we're at Little River now, so we're turning onto the Brightline. I'm going to call them the Brightline tracks, but I think historically they're called like the Port Miami Spur or Lead or something like that for the Florida East Coast Railway. And also, this really is not a fast trip either. Once you leave Metrorail, it's like 40 miles an hour max. But yeah, let's see. Update: southbound train 21 minutes late due to FEC freight train. So yeah, call them out, Tri-Rail. The Florida East Coast Railway is to blame for our delay. And I'll be very curious to know if this shuttle train is also going to be, a good bit late coming out as a result. Because we were supposed to get to Miami Central at 8:05, and that shuttle train is scheduled to leave at 8:10. So my assumption is that once we were to arrive at Miami Central, then they can leave at 5 minutes later. But now they might have to wait for us. So lots of cascading impacts for that. One freight train has delayed 2, possibly 3 passenger trains. As we now enter the Port Miami line for the Florida East Coast Railway, which is also used by Brightline. So I think one missed opportunity for Tri-Rail here, and I'm sure there's plans in the works to add a station, but this Miami Design District, which has popped up really quickly the last few years, I remember like not too long ago, this was like all dirt fields really. And I think historically, again, maybe one of the FEC railway historians can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think historically this used to be like the old coach yards for the Florida East Coast Railway. But now it's a very much urbanized area. Lots of apartment buildings have popped up, and it actually looks like a very cool walkable neighborhood, which is nice to see in South Florida. And this is also like the Wynwood Arts District as well. All right, we're now pulling up into MiamiCentral Station in downtown Miami. About 15, a little over 15 minutes late. And that's the Overtown Metrorail transfer station right over there. And off to the left is the Brightline platforms. So yeah, as expected, I think that's that shuttle train that was supposed to leave at 8:10 waiting for us. It's now 8:22, so it's a good 12 minutes late at this point, and we're about 17 minutes late arriving into MiamiCentral Station.
MiamiCentral Station, final stop down south.
So it definitely looks like there are quite a few people on the train, ultimately. One thing I do want to point out about MiamiCentral Station, this is the only all full level boarding platform that Tri-Rail uses, and that is the reason they have to use these Hyundai Rotom cars and not the Bombardier cars that they would could also use. That's also in Tri-Rail's fleet. Another thing to note, when you get off the train to the left or to the north, that's the Brightline station. If you get off and go to the right or to the south, this is the way to Government Center. So I may speed this part up because it is a bit of a walk, but I think I do kind of want to document like the way to get from Tri-Rail's platform over to Government Center, because to be honest, there's not very good wayfinding, at least the last time I was here. Let's see if that's improved at all. Okay, well, there's one sign pointing to Government Center. So yeah, there definitely appears to be signage once you get off the train. Brightline behind me, Government Center ahead of me. And it really is quite a bit of a walk too from the train over to Government Center. There are bathrooms. I am not going to be the channel that does bathroom reviews. I'll leave that to the experts. In my opinion, if you're using a public restroom, you're probably desperate as it is, so that actual bathroom conditions don't really matter. Kind of funny that their track information monitor is basically just a Google Chrome screen, but this is useful, and I'm glad it's here. When I go to the Brightline side, that's kind of like a 50-50 chance as to whether or not you're on the right platform. And I imagine it's probably a Brightline thing, as in they don't want non-Brightline stuff in their station. But it would be very helpful to know if you're trying to take a tri-rail train from the Brightline side of the platform, which track to go up on, and that will make a little bit more sense when I walk over to the Brightline side of the station. Obviously, the Brightline platforms are caged off because you do need a Brightline ticket to ride Brightline, and they have a whole dog and pony circus show to get on their trains or enter their waiting room. One interesting thing about the station, and maybe I'll get a good shot of tracks 4 and 5. You can see the train that we just got off. But one interesting thing about this station is it appears that there's like a Brightline lounge that's currently going unused. So you can see like they have like the ticket gates up, but that lounge has never been used as far as I know. So I wonder what the plans for that were. In my opinion, it would kind of be helpful to have like some signage here as to Government Center going in this direction. I actually just noticed that above the elevator. You can also take the stairs. That goes down to the ground level. That's the Government Center Metrorail station here. You can see the bridge right over there. All right, here's the bridge to Government Central station from MiamiCentral station. So there's wayfinding signage there pointing you the direction of the Metro Mover inner loop and the Omnium Brickle loops. The only problem is that you can't, I think that's Metrorail. So there's Metro Mover there. So that's Metrorail, I think, here. So that's Metrorail. So that's a ticket barrier. You need a ticket to enter that area, which is why this is all gated off. The problem is, like, once you get here, the signage runs out. So you have like the signs there pointing you to the Omni Loop, Brickle Loop, or the exit. But the only way to get access that is by entering Metrorail, which you really don't need to. So instead what you do is you end up on the inner loop side of Metro Mover, and that's really only apparent based off that signage there. At the very least, at least they have a wayfinding signage for Tri-Rail. Okay, exit Metro Mover inner loop. And this is the Metrorail access. So the inner loop is here. But if you want to access the outer loop, I guess you have to go down to the street level here. And enter this building, I think. Yes. And this is the Omni and Brickle Loop is up in that direction. But I am not riding Metro Mover today. Okay, so one thing I just happened to stumble across, and I don't know if you can see it between the trees, is there's the 95 Express that I'm pretty sure is BCT operated there. I wonder if that bus was the same one I saw at the Fort Lauderdale Airport station, and it happened to beat us because of that ruthless 20-minute delay. And speaking of delays, I just got this email from Brightline that my train home to West Palm Beach is also delayed. So that seems to be the name of the game today. I was originally patting myself on the back for not booking the 8:45 train back and taking the 9:45 train so I could have myself a little bit more time. But yeah, maybe I could have made a delayed 8:45 as well. In any case, I'm going to walk back to the other side of the MiamiCentral station and check out the access to Tri-Rail from the Brightline station. So one thing I do want to mention is access to public transit from MiamiCentral. I don't think going through Government Central is actually the best way to do that if you're transferring onto Metrorail or Metro Mover. I think it's to go through the Brightline side of the station. The Metro Mover station is right here, and the Brightline station is straight that way. It's still kind of an inconvenient walk to Metro Mover. Actually, the Metrorail station is right next to the entrance to the Brightline station. But if you are transferring from Tri-Rail to Metrorail or Metro Mover, I would recommend going out through the Brightline side and not through the Government Central side, because I think that's a bit of a longer walk. Now, that being said, I do want to talk about bad pedestrian safety in front of the Brightline station. This used to be a three-way stop sign, but I don't think the oncoming cars, I don't think that Volkswagen has an actual stop sign. But the Brightline station is right here. You think they would have kept the stop sign? I'm not sure why they didn't. And that Kia, that black car, almost got T-boned by this white car. And now I get to play Frogger with traffic to try to get to the Brightline station. City of Miami, please make this a safer crossing. Okay, I'm in the Brightline station now, and that is not a reassuring image, seeing all those people down there. Hopefully they were on the 8:45 and they just need to get their ticket changed. But yeah, anyway, this is the escalator access to Tri-Rail. Oh, Okay. Well, I might have to modify my plans. I suspect the 9:45 I was supposed to take is going to be packed. Hopefully it's still operating. But anyway, this is what I was talking about, having no info signage. So you kind of just make a 50-50 guess as to what track your tri-rail train is actually on. Track 5 is on this side. Track 4 is over there. I guess they don't want tri-rail passengers to enter this way, maybe. But, yeah. Now I'm going to try to figure out this Brightline situation. So I really don't have that much interest in recording this whole Brightline process. Lots of people have done it before me, but I am trying to zoom in on this departure screen. It shows the 8:50 leaving at 10:15. Per the announcement I heard when I walked in, that train is now canceled, and my train at 9:45 a.m. is supposed to leave at 10:20 a.m., so 35 minutes late. You know, I might actually see what the Tri-Rail situation looks like. Maybe I can take Metrorail to Tri-Rail and take Tri-Rail back home. I don't know. Okay, there's a Tri-Rail shuttle train that leaves in 10 minutes. I think I'm going to take that and say screw Brightline and save my Brightline video for another day. Supposedly that leaves from track 4. Let's see if I can make that train. Okay, so the Tri-Rail app did say that this shuttle train leaves from track 4, which actually that lies. That says this is track 5, but track 5 is down here. This is track 4 here, I'm pretty sure. So a shuttle train leaves in less than 10 minutes, and I actually still have to buy a return ticket, which is going to be another $8.75, but that would be cheaper than the $20+ I wasted on Brightline. And I'm definitely not going to mess around and try to get a refund on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll email them. But, yeah. Lots of love for Brightline out there, but Tri-Rail might be old reliable today. Alright, so made it on the Tri-Rail shuttle train. A few minutes left to spare. There's one other person, funny enough, she was also going to take Brightline, I'm assuming to West Palm Beach, but when her train got canceled, she ended up taking this train as well. So hopefully I can get to West Palm Beach before noon, because I have other stuff I have to do. Alright, so ending up leaving Miami about 40 minutes than I originally planned, thanks to the Brightline failure, the Bright fail. One thing I actually do want to comment on is when I came in, I said, I'm not sure if 2 shuttle trains can operate at the same time, but it appears that the southbound shuttle train is a few minutes out from MiamiCentral, and quite clearly we are leaving. I don't understand the operational whatever that word is, of this shuttle train operation. Also, I'm curious, is there a Brightline train in the station? Presumably no, right? Because that 8:45 or 8:50 train was canceled, and then it said my 9:45 train was at least like 20+ minutes late. So I know Tri-Rail is not the favorite rail system in South Florida, but I appreciate it a lot. And I definitely think it's highly underrated. And in this case, it's coming in clutch for me and at least one other passenger with Brightline having some issues, which in fairness does happen. Tri-Rail has their issues. Anything happens, right? Buses, planes, driving, there's always issues. But fortunate that Tri-Rail is also here as an option, a much more affordable option as well, to get me back home. Right, and there's that other shuttle train that we were looking at earlier. That is P611X. So the naming for those shuttle trains, it's always the number of the train that it connects with. So in that case, it connects with the P611, the southbound train, and then they add an X to designate that it's just the shuttle train. And also, typically, the consist is just that one Hyundai Rotom cab car and the BL36PH locomotive, since those are the only compliant equipment that Tri-Rail has for MiamiCentral.
Interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure this is the same 4-car set for the downtown Miami train that I took earlier. So interesting equipment utilization, but I guess it makes sense because otherwise typically these shuttle trains are only 1 car because quite frankly the ridership is unfortunately just not there. I don't know. And we're passing through Wynwood and the design district of Miami again. In an ideal world, there would be commuter rail service, tri-rail service on the Florida East Coast Railway tracks from Miami up to Jupiter, and hopefully tri-rail would also own those tracks, so the Florida East Coast Railway could not delay passenger trains for their freight trains. Nevertheless, I really have to give kudos to Tri-Rail, Miami-Dade County, and FDOT and all the other partners for really just getting this downtown Miami shuttle train up and running. Tri-Rail has been in service since 1989, and it took 35 years, I guess, to serve downtown Miami, which is the biggest downtown in South Florida that Tri-Rail operates in. But it finally happened. Obviously, there's like some history as to why Tri-Rail operates on the line that it does and not the Florida East Coast Railway. And maybe I'll save that for another video another day. But long story short, it has to do with I don't think the Florida East Coast Railway at the time was open to negotiating with the state to operate passenger trains on their line. And CSX was, and that's why we ended up with Tri-Rail the way it is. That said, it does kind of punch above its weight, in my opinion. It offers really good all-day service, hourly service during the middays, hourly service on weekends, which was added like 10 plus years ago, and it does a really good job at connecting Miami Airport and Fort Lauderdale Airport. Comes up a little short in many other things, but for what it's able to do, I think it does it quite well. Well, I'm not sure if you're able to pick that up on the audio, but southbound train P613 was also canceled. So Brightline's not the only railroad today with delayed and canceled trains. Tri-Rail is as well. And in fairness, there's been times where I was supposed to take Tri-Rail and I ended up taking Brightline. So it works both ways. But pretty convenient transfer for the shuttle train. And that is the downtown Miami Express train that I took earlier this morning, presumably going back to the Hialeah yard.
Southbound train P613 has been canceled. P615 is the next scheduled southbound train. Southbound train P613 has been canceled. P615 is the next scheduled southbound train. Southbound
made it. Okay, we just left Fort Lauderdale Railroad Boulevard Station, and it looks like the Brightline train that I was supposed to be on left Miami at 10:11. So about 26 minutes late. No regrets though. Maybe a little annoyed that I gave Brightline $28 or $25 that I didn't use, but whatever. Okay, I think I stand corrected. I don't think it actually had left Miami yet. It's 10:22. Let's see. Now Apple Maps shows 10:25 at departing, and it looks like it's still actually in Miami. So pretty significantly delayed, over 40 minutes now. I don't know if I really care at this point. Stuff happens. I'm going to hopefully get back to West Palm Beach by 11 a.m. regardless. Just got stiffed out of 20-something bucks. But it's all good. So we just stopped at Boynton Beach, moved out of the station slowly, and then came to a stop. I noticed what appeared to be the engineer walking alongside of the train. So that's never a good sign. Needless to say, it's one of those days where minor interruptions. Hopefully it's nothing too severe. But needless to say, the universe does not want me to get to West Palm Beach at 11 a.m. Maybe I was supposed to be on that Brightline train. I don't know. Whatever. And a not so promising update, the conductor appeared to have also gone outside as well. Let's see how long we've been sitting here now for. Looks like 15 minutes. Okay. Well, it appears we have lost power. So our locomotive might be broke. Which means we might be waiting for the next train to take us all the way to West Palm Beach, unless this one can regain power. Okay, it looks like after 15 minutes we're finally on our way again. According to the Tri-Rail app, our train lost power. We never actually seem to have lost power in the train itself. It could maybe just be like the traction power, not the actual head-end power. Which obviously is important because that allows us to go. Well, there's that ringing sound again. That does not sound promising. So just another update. Obviously, we did not move very far. My assumption is that this next northbound train is going to have to rescue us. It's about 30 minutes away from Boynton Beach. Don't know how this is going to play out. If I stuck with Brightline, I would be, let's see, coming up on Boca Raton. Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, I was gonna say after nearly an hour, we were finally on the move. But there goes that bell again. So I suspect we lost power again. Let's see. The northbound train is about 7 minutes behind us, it looks like. Okay, the bell stopped going off. maybe we're just gonna try to roll into Lake Worth. I don't know. To be continued, I guess. So after nearly an hour outside of the Boynton Beach station, we started rolling again. We didn't even make it really a mile. We made it to High Pullock, so I don't think we really went faster than like 10 miles an hour either. Here's where we are on the Tri-Rail tracker. That next northbound train. Okay, so he said we are going to head back south to Boynton Beach. Everyone's going to get off, and then we're going to all take the next northbound train, which is more or less what I figured at this point. So, tried saving a 45 minute delay from Brightline. Turns out that was worthless, because now I'm going to be over an hour later than I expected. But such is life. And of course, sure enough, I just got this email from Brightline that we are now arriving into West Palm Beach. Yeah, I'm not even in that direction right now. I'm about to head back to Boynton Beach. Okay, I've been watching the progress of our supposed rescue train on the map. It was stopped at Boynton Beach Boulevard for a second. I know there's like a crossover there, so I don't know, maybe it's like an interlocking or something, because I heard some chatter on the radio. Couldn't exactly pick up entirely what's going on, but needless to say, we're still stopped near Hypluxo Road. If we don't have power, I don't know how we're going to end up going back to Boynton Beach Boulevard, but I guess this is the adventure part of this experience now. So all I can do now is just sit and wait. So it looks like they scratched the plan of us going back to Boynton Beach, possibly. Yeah. Curious what's going on. It's possible that this northbound train is going to hook up to the back of us and maybe push us to Lake Worth at the very least, hopefully. Needless to say, I've been on a lot of train rides in my life. There's been some engine failures, but I think this is like maybe the first time I can say where my train broke down and another train is going to assist us. I know I've been on trains that have broke down and I just got kicked off and we had to take the next train. But yeah, oh, okay. Well, the latest train Tri-Rail alert says that our train has been terminated north of Boynton Beach. Fortunately, they don't mean we've literally been terminated, because I still exist. The train itself still exists, just not the train number. And I guess P620 is going to take us the rest of the way, hopefully. A little over an hour late, but yeah, I don't even want to see the email that said Brightline was arriving in West Palm Beach like half an hour ago, but whatever. You make plans, the universe laughs, or something like that. Okay, we have definitely coupled up to the train behind us, and we are starting to move north again. That's not a good sound. Well, if you guys never see me again, it was nice knowing you all. Best wishes. Au revoir. Goodbye. Annyeong. Okay, we just crossed 6th Avenue South. I think I'm going to bail at Lake Worth and have someone else pick me up. Shortly after hooking up the train, they had engine issues, trying to get the other engine to work. And then shortly after that, they had brake issues. But we're finally lipping into Lake Worth, and I think I'm going to call it a day there.
Also, all my batteries are dying, so I don't have a lot of capacity to make to film the rest of the journey.
Finally made it to Lake Worth. Accidentally deleted the video of me getting off the train, which is fine. For the real filmers out there, if you're curious, the problematic train was a set of 3 bombers and a Brooksville locomotive. And then the rescue train behind us was also 3 bombers and a Brooksville locomotive. Apparently there were brake issues after hooking up with our train, and that caused a further delay. I think a lot of people got off at Lake Worth and are just finding alternative transportation if they're continuing north. I also feel bad for the people on the train behind us because they're also going to wait. They got to wait for our train to move forward a little bit so they can get off. Also really mad because Amtrak actually ended up passing us at Lake Worth, and I think I accidentally deleted that footage as well. But regardless, I think that's the end of it here.